Load the Kitty Part 1 file and stitch the die line for the legs on a piece of stabilizer. Cover the die line with faux fur, felt, or fabric and stitch the guide line. Stitch the alignment circles. Place another piece of fabric right side down, covering the original die lines, and stitch the final tack down. Using the lines on the reverse, trim around the outer lines, leaving the tabs intact. Trim the stabilizer away from the inner outlines. Leave the stabilizer on the seams intact. Turn the legs right side out. Faux fur is the easiest to turn as it has some stretch. Stuff each leg firmly. Repeat the previous steps for Kitty Part 2, the other two legs. Load the Kitty Part 3 file and stitch the ear die line on a piece of stabilizer. Cover the ears with a piece of fabric right side up and stitch the inner ear die line. Cover the die lines with fabric and stitch the tack down for the inner ears. Trim around the inner ear tack downs. Back at the machine, cover the ears with a piece of fabric right side down and stitch the tack down for the outer ears. Stitch the die line for the tail. Cover the die line with 2 pieces of fabric right sides together and stitch the tack down. Trim around the ears and the tail using the lines on the reverse side of the hoop, leaving a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Turn the ears and tail right side out. Lightly stuff the ears and tail. You can glue them shut if you'd like, but it's not necessary. Leave the tails and ear unstuffed for easier sewing later on. Load kitty part 4 and stitch the die line on a new piece of stabilizer. Cover with fabric right side up and stitch the die line for the stripes. Cover the stripe die line with fabric and stitch the tack down. Stitch the alignment circles. Next, we'll trim along the stitch lines for the stripes, leaving the top intact. Load the kitty part 5 file and stitch the die lines on a new piece of stabilizer. Cover the die line with a piece of fabric right side up and tape in place. Stitch the muzzle die line. Cover with fabric and stitch the tack down for the muzzle. Stitch the die line for the stripes. Next, cover the die line with fabric and stitch the tack down. As before, we'll trim around the stripes, leaving the top intact. Also, trim the muzzle. Place a piece of lightweight water-soluble stabilizer as shown. I used Sulky Solvy. This type of stabilizer helps the fur, or the pile, not to show through our stitches later. Now we're going to stitch the eyes, the nose, the mouth, and whiskers. Stitch the tummy guideline. Now we'll remove the stabilizer from the face. Return the hoop to the machine and stitch the alignment circles and lines for the ears and tail. Cover the tail and ear guidelines with the ears and tail you made earlier. The ears and tail should be positioned so they point right side down toward the inside of the body. Tape them in place. Leaving the ears and tail unstuffed makes for easier sewing when we attach the back to the front. Now we'll stitch the tack down for the ears and tail. Cover the whole kitty die line with the Part 4 kitty panel right side down. Align the circles to help you match the two sides of the kitty and tape in place. It helps to trim the stabilizer away from the back panel you stitched earlier. Use lots of tape and make sure there are no wrinkles. Stitch the final tack down for the kitty. Trim around the kitty using the lines on the reverse side, leaving a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Trim away the stabilizer from the front and back of the kitty. Turn the kitty right side out. Reach in and grab the tail and pull it through first, and then one of the ears. Stuff the kitty firmly, starting with the head first. For a truly no-sew kitty, use fabric glue or Steam-A-Seam 2 on the leg openings. Beacon Fabri-Tac is the best choice. You can also ladder stitch the legs and the kitty. Take 15 inches of embroidery floss and a needle and make a knot on one end. Open the flap and insert the needle at the beginning of the opening on the inside, passing through to the outside so that the knot is hidden inside the leg. Here is a diagram of how a ladder stitch is done. The threads will resemble the rungs of a ladder. Tuck the flap down inside the body and begin tightening the threads. At the other end of the opening where you stop, make a self-tightening knot and pull it tight. Push the needle into the leg right beside the knot and exit the needle a ways away. Pull out the slack and then tug firmly. Snip the thread next to the fabric and the tails will slip back inside the leg. Now we will attach the legs. Take upholstery thread approximately 30 inches long when doubled, threaded through a 5-inch doll needle or the largest needle that you have. Enter the front side of the kitty on the right side of the circle and exit on the opposite side. Pull the thread through, leaving 8-inch tails. Tape the tails to the body. Take a leg with the circle on the inside and the toes forward and enter on the right side of the circle. Pass through the leg. Thread a 1/2-inch 2-hole button through the right hole, then through the other. Pass through the leg and the body on the now left side of those circles. Exit on the front side of the kitty on the left side of the circle. Take another leg with toes forward and the circle on the back side and thread the needle through the left side of the circle on the back of the leg and through the leg. Thread another 1/2-inch 2-hole button and pass the needle through the left buttonhole and then the right. Then through the leg and into the body again. Pass through the body, the back leg, and the back button as before. This will be our second and last pass we make through the back leg. Now we just need to make one more pass through the front. After you pass through the button on the front leg, go through the leg all the way, but not into the body. Take the loose tails you taped to the body earlier and the leftover thread and tighten the legs. Work on pulling both sides of the threads until the legs are stiff, but you can still move them. When you're satisfied, tie a square knot twice to secure the legs. Pass the needle into the body where the stitching is next to the knot you just made and exit the needle a ways away. Pull the threads taut and snip. Repeat for the other tails. Repeat these steps for the other two legs. We still need to close the body to the kitty. I chose to do the ladder stitch for this, just as I did for the legs. If you're not comfortable doing a ladder stitch, you can use fabric glue such as Becca, Fabri-Tac, or you can use Steam a Seam to close the seam. Now we have finished our kitty, we can move on to making the kitty carrier.